Yo, Joburg, everybody. Welcome to a very special collaboration between G.I. Joburg and Talking Joe. We have in attendance, along with your usual suspects, Steve and Paul, we have the OGs from Talking Joe podcast. It's Chief and Ben. Hello, gentlemen.
How's it going, S-Jubs? Hey, Paul. Nice to meet
Ben.
you.
Hey, Chief.
Yes, this is the first time Paul
time
has met Chief and Ben. Wicked.
Yeah. Thanks for digging up a couple of old fossils and bringing us onto your young show.
Yeah, and
History has been made.
apologies for the viewership going down when this one lands.
No, brother.
We only have like 10 or so it's okay. Don't stress.
We wanted to bottle that enthusiasm that you guys have for, well, just for your friendship and for retro stuff and for G.I. Joe and inject it into this episode because the content of this episode is a very, very special one. There is an incredible catalog, which, I mean, it has been oft-treaded ground. It's the Benelux catalog from 1990. Mad props to our buddy Paul Panfalone of Plastic Battles. He did a podcast series on this very same topic, and he comes at it from a photographer's point of view, which is incredible. We're coming at it from the point of view of extremely enthusiastic fans, so expect all the gushing and perhaps less of the appreciation of lighting and shadow and diorama construction, though there might be a bit of that as well. Either way, we're going to have some fun letting these images roll past. If you are listening to this podcast and not checking it out on YouTube, why aren't you checking it out on YouTube? Come on, man. Some visual cues. But if you are jonesing for the images, the links to Plastic Battle's websites where you can find very high quality scans of the entire catalog will be in the description to this podcast, wherever you're listening to it. But without further adu, gentlemen, should we crack open this beautiful, beautiful tome of G.I. Joe advertising?
In fact, just very quick little story here. You're lucky that I'm even here right now because I spoke to Ben about this offline about half an hour ago. I was going up into the loft, the treacherous loft, to get some packaging for some comics I've sold on eBay, and I'm kind of pretty much almost through the loft. The hatch is kind of on my waist area. I've leant around to get some packaging. Foot slipped on the loft ladder. Leg gashed on the metal concertina ladder. I start falling down through the loft. Managed to get my arms out. Think Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, when he's, the dude's chucked him the whip. He's taken the whip off and he's falling down the thing. He's trying to scramble up. So I'm kind of perched over the ledge of this thingy. The scraped all up my arms, all through my jumper. And I had to manage to strength of the bear, luckily. Managed to pull myself up through the loft hatch. But
I'm thinking of climbing for dollars from the Running Man.
I buy that for $1.
That was it. But I saw my life flash before my eyes, and all I thought was, man, I don't want to be late for S-Jubs' G.I. Joburg broadcast. So I managed to pull myself up, but it was could have been a lot worse.
Buddy. You did not communicate that on the group, and I know that you're a pretty limber man these days. So can you show us your gash? I want to see it, man. I want to see some blood.
No. I'll show you offline.
All right, okay.
I was once in a cafe once, and I saw a guy in a full torso body cast like this, and I was like, dude, I've got to come over and just. Is there a really gnarly story of how this happened? And he was like, yeah, I fell through my loft hatch.
Oh, Jesus.
So, dude, you count yourself lucky, brother.
Yeah.
Man caves, I don't know, risk.
That's it.
I thought you were going to tell us it was made by Kenner.
Wicked. Apologies for the diversion. Yes, let's crack on. So, Paul, you haven't even seen this catalogue, I don't believe, have you?
No, I haven't. Okay. You guys are saying Benelux. I'm like, yeah. I mean, 5 minutes before, a few seconds before you said Benelux, I thought we were going to see some Playboy action. I don't know.
We only briefly chatted about this offline, S-Jubs and Ben, when we were doing some of the toy box stuff, and I'm still a bit confused about what this catalogue is, S-Jubs. So, and I, the lazy man that I am, I've done no research. So just tell me what this catalogue is.
As far as I know, the Benelux territories, Belgium, let me get this right, Netherlands and Luxembourg, were somewhat of a very special kind of beast when it came to G.I. Joe promotion. They got their own exclusives, they got their own promotional material, and clearly a lot of care and effort was put into Hasbro Benelux's advertising material, because these catalogs didn't appear in any other markets. I mean, we all got catalogs, right? But they pale in comparison to the level of like just care, attention, depth of like presentation, the characterization, the fact that each image is telling a great story is something that is so evident. It's really a fantastic piece of G.I. Joe history, and one that I don't think too many people know about. Like, a smattering of these images often turn up in web searches, but the complete catalog is something that not everyone is aware of, and certainly like people who are aware of it, I mean, it trades hands on eBay every now and then. You can get a complete catalog. They are high demand items, I think. I don't know what they go for.
Listen, Paul's going out of his mind here. Let's just cut to the chase. Open up the link and let's get page 1 open.
All right.
Holograms and yeah. I mean, I need to hear. Yeah, I better hear like pinch harmonics when this thing opens.
Well, I think you're going to lead the charge then, Paul, with image number 1. What is your first impression?
Okay, so I've got it. I'm allowed to open it now.
Do it, brother. Do it.
That's the general consent. Okay, cool. Hold on. Image 1.
These are big kind of spreads. They're almost double.
Ooh,
they're almost
spready.
Centerfold spreads, aren't they?
These are Playboy centerfolds.
You got it. Except we've replaced Playboy with Voltar.
Yeah.
Well, Playmates. We replaced the Playmates with Voltar, but yeah, this is
contrasty shadows.
I love this. This reminds me of some of the Dino Rider catalog shots that we used to see on the back of like magazines, where there was just so much atmosphere.
Yeah, that is atmosphere crazy.
Yeah, and you mentioned that we might not be mentioning the lighting, S-Jobs, but the lighting here is fantastic.
Yeah, very
gloomy.
Like, shadows to like bring out the pop out the color and stuff in the toys as well.
I love at the center of those kind of little troop bits. You've got the guy with the hat off, the helmet off.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
That's so cool.
So what's happening here, guys?
I love the fact they got flippers. I love the fact they got flippers on still.
Are you thinking this is ceremonial, or are they getting G'd up to go into battle here?
It depends. If you've been working in corporate for a while, this looks like a motivational speech.
Yeah.
Or like a workshop, how to be a better Cobra.
Brainwashing.
Brainwash.
I have a theory about particularly Voltar and the Iron Grenadier's place in territories outside of the United States. I think it was less understood that Destro had a separate game going on. I think it was they were more collapsed into Cobra. So what I'm seeing in this image is Cobra Commander's got his new duds. He's being introduced to this new fella, Voltar, who is now commanding these new styles of troops. It's basically like showcasing like Cobra's new specializations.
Yeah, exactly. And also the fact that, they're not going to have Cobra Commander in his hooded, regular duds, because that figure's not out. They're trying to sell a battle armor Cobra Commander, but obviously that then gives it the feel that they are. This is the new world order. Here's the lay of the land. Let's get ready for our first skirmish.
Chief, is there any chance that we have seen these before but just don't know it, or is it they're so well shot that they just feel familiar because of the style?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I know we'll see this in some of the other images, and I've seen them, but only briefly flicked over the pages, a few months ago when we first talked about this. So they're kind of newish to me as well. But I know you're a big fan, Ben, of toy photography that makes the toys still look like toys. I know you're not a massive fan of toy photography that tries to input too much realism and make the toys not look like toys. Yeah,
I just think that anyone can sort of have a DSLR and put a 50mm lens on it and get that cinematic depth of field, and that's great. But because of what I've grown up with, I'm always trying to get back to that G.I. Joe catalog where
toys look like toys.
Yeah, well, it's not in their interest to make them not look like toys. The cool thing about these photos to me is that if you're a kid looking at these, they almost feel, obviously they're technically incredible, but they almost feel achievable. Like, oh my God, I could get all my Joes up and I could line them up and I could do something like that.
And I can make that diorama.
It certainly makes you want to troop build looking at that, you know.
Mom, I want a dozen Iron Grenadiers.
And I was
the same guy?
such a troop builder. I mean, I had maybe 7 or 8 Iron Grenadiers.
Ben, to feed into your point about like the toyetic nature of shooting these subjects, something that is very important and what sets perhaps an advertising catalog apart from like serious toy photography that we see nowadays is the angle choice and the fact that it's a big wide.
Yeah,
we're clearly seeing products. We're not seeing a worm's eye view trying to make them more than what they are. So we're getting this kind of this 3/4 raised perspective.
Yeah, you just don't see big wides, and mainly because you know, the guy in his garden has got a tiny little thing to work with, and he doesn't have this amazing diorama.
Speaking of Paul Panfalone, Plastic Battles, his dioramas are typically made out of pizza boxes.
Amazing.
Yeah, he builds the environment inside the box and the sort of the depth of field, and just kind of shoots within a pizza box size environment.
And, from a kid's point of view, I don't believe you can stare and kind of create stories by looking at a torso shot with crazy depth of field. Like, it doesn't inspire my imagination, whereas I could stare at that and you can just go crazy. And if you were a kid looking at that, you are going to be, as you say, jonesing to go out and buy G.I. Joe, aren't you?
Well, whoever masterminded this catalog knew what they were doing. The masters of old. I think we can all learn a lesson from them. But should we close the chapter on this incredible first image?
Yeah, I'm going to the next.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Well, nice contrast here. We saw the Cobras, the enemy, and the first one, and now we've got the Joes with their pep talk.
Very much more an informal setting. Yeah. They're all kind of at ease, but Falcon's definitely ruling the roost. He's got something to say.
Seen quite a few of these similar setups on the Facebook groups on Joburg, etc. recently, of people posting, you know, Joe's in the rec room doing this kind of R&R or prepping for a mission. Seen quite a few interpretations of this.
Chief, this is exactly what we would have been trying to achieve with our setups when we were younger.
Yeah, but our setups weren't a lot of firefight based, were they? They were all
meetings.
Yeah, meetings, prep. Yeah, Joe's building structures.
See, that shot is designed because when you take that in, I guess someone could say like, "Oh God, that's so busy. What is going on?" But it's designed to be flowed through with your eyes. You go through each Joe, don't you? You just kind of, you almost don't take it in as one thing. You go through each character. It's insane.
So you got the guys. So like, you know, Falcon giving the briefing, whatever. The guys in the front are all very, very attentive. And as you go towards the back, look, you got kind of Shockwave and Storm Shadow just casually leaning against the wall.
You got about 7 stories going on there.
Sorry, it's not Storm Shadow, is it? Who is it?
Avalanche.
Sorry, apologies. As you'll know, my Joe knowledge is not that good, but yeah, they're just casually leaning against the wall. It's brilliant.
I really love how I mean, you guys have touched on this, how casual it all is, but it's great to see that you got all these Joes, but they're not like holding their guns. You know, it's all like you got Storm Shadow with his bow and he's just like chilled there, you know, and you got Dodger with his foot on the box, and they're just really in there and they're very characteristic, you know, and it's such a like contrast to the American stuff, because the American stuff is very, you know, I'm here with my guns, you know, and this is so great. I mean,
all of them. You make a great point there, Paul. Like they've been very restrained. They're not showing each character with everything that they've got. Like Rock and Roll version 2 with his enormous like car engines in each hand.
Yeah.
Like these guys, they're very pared down.
If that
some of them
photo landed on the G.I. Joe office or Hasbro in America, they would be like, what the heck is this? Where's the guns? Where's the action?
Yeah, this is not selling figures.
It's planting seeds,
It's storytelling, isn't it? It's
I've got to give some props to the fact that they have an unposable farm animal of a creature. The animal companion, Max, the bobcat, who only has one pose, but they've given him motion. They've used that static pose and given it more dimension than the static pose initially offers. Like he's climbing up on a box.
Yeah,
which is great.
Very cool.
It's like spear. It's like saying, "No, boy, down, stay down."
I'm trying to work out how they got Avalanche's foot to do that in the shot. I can't. I've got Storm Shadow here. And it really looks like his foot is crossed over. So I don't know if they like dislocated the leg and put in some like press stick or something to create that look.
They go deep. If they do that, they actually go as far as deconstructing the figures to give them more variation to their posing.
I think my favorite there is Shockwave because he is just cash and he's like, yeah, I get the mission. It's going to be fun.
Relaxed. Yeah.
Shockwave's
also,
the man.
Look at these geeks at the front. You got the geeks right at the front.
Maverick and Charbroil are perhaps a little too close.
They're just like,
and I also love how they both have their little Buck Rogers shoulders.
Yeah. BF2K and regular G.I. Joe, but they both look like they're from 20 years into the future.
They're the first ones to go 6 feet under, I bet you.
Yeah. Gory in the case of Charbroil. But
sunset. It's beautiful.
What do you guys think about the varied groupings? I mean, we've got regular carded G.I. Joe personnel mixed in with BF2K, mixed in with the Renegades. Like, do you envision? Yeah,
That's fine. Yeah.
Great.
I mean, again, with the shadows, he has created, in my head, there is a window the other side of that with a stunning sunset happening right there. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, shrunk down maps. I mean, they put a lot of effort into the
I love
props.
those.
Yeah.
Those must have been expensive to print in that time as well. So
explain.
The thing is, I mean, these were shot in the 80s or late 80s. And just to get like small stuff printed out like that, it must have like printing wasn't as accessible as it is to us now, obviously.
What do you mean? They didn't just cut up pieces of encyclopedia?
You know what? Looking at it, could be. It could be, or it could have been like they took a photo of a map and an encyclopedia just to get that scaling right. Because
who here has noticed the Falcon Shotguns?
Yeah, man.
On the wall rack.
Really?
They've gotten some paint accents.
Painted stocks.
Muskrat loves a shotgun too.
Mm-hmm.
I always got that one confused with Falcons.
What colour is it? Just a black? Is it just generally black? What have they done? They painted the stocks brown, have they?
Yeah.
Painted the stock and the pump. Nice touch.
Oh yeah.
Ah, man.
Very good.
Okay,
so how would work with the creases there? I don't. Is it like it folds open into like it's big?
I think there might have been text on the one face.
Okay.
That's been cut. So Paul has cropped in, so we just have the image. Okay. There might have been information, I think, if memory serves.
Are you trying to get your hands on this, do you think? Is this something
it's something I would like to get?
Yeah.
If it crossed my path, I don't know.
All right.
I could do a quick little search. But just while I do that, gentlemen, between the Cobra approach and the Joe approach, do you have a favorite? Or they're both separate but equal in your favor?
I think separate but equal because they're not exactly the same kind of. I don't know. I think that the Joe one for me, there's more going on there to study.
Mm-hmm. I've just skipped forward to the next one, and then it's completely pared back.
Well, let's take a look at image number 3. Well,
So
we
here
saw
we
them
actually
being
saw-
buddies.
Yeah, you're right. We saw them. We saw these two guys leaning against the wall, and now we see them actually out on their mission.
That looks like a big head carved into the rock with a map.
Yeah, snake. It looks like a snake to me. A snake head on the left, and it kind of trawls back around. A buried snake.
These boys are best buds, man, in this universe.
Just on the topic of the Benelux catalog, none for sale on eBay at the moment.
Sold listings?
Geez, Chief, more homework for S-Jobs. Talk amongst yourselves.
What is that little vehicle, that number 3? The vehicle, I can't read the text here. Vehicle Tau Terrain.
Did they come with the blister packs on a particular series? What were they?
Yeah, they were motorized vehicle packs. In the United States, they were released in the 1988 series, obviously in Europe as late as 1990, it seems. And this was the ATV, all-terrain vehicle, otherwise known as a complete death trap. I mean, they're kind of miniaturized vehicles that had wind-up-and-go features. Incidentally, they're licensed by Hasbro, but actually made by Tome in Japan. I don't know if you know Tome toys.
It just looks small, that if a figure goes on that, it's going to look like a toy clown car.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right, Chief.
Okay, right.
I did a review of one of these once upon a time. If you're fans of G.I. Joburg, maybe you'd like to dig it up. I'll have the link in the description as well. But yeah, it is very clown car-ish.
S-Jubs, are these guys following a brief at all? Like, are they ticking boxes? Do they have to put that in there because that is for sale? And
I think all of the items
themselves.
I think they have a lot of freedom, because to do a spread, which is no doubt going to cost money and take a lot of time and effort and expertise, to basically advertise one vehicle, 2 figures, and an accessory. Like that's incredible. So the brief was probably, like, all of these toys were probably within that series. The text will give you their actual names. But it's so stylish. The presentation of it is so restrained.
What would that be made out of, do you reckon, that diorama?
I can't tell what the base material is like, but I think the snow and stuff is probably made out of, I want to say salt. It's like saline solution. Like you do that and you sort of just let it crystallize. Otherwise, it's just literally salt, and then you just spray an adhesive on it and try to get it to fix.
It's
That's one way.
You put on your chips, Chief.
It's the what?
It's the stuff you put on your chips.
Salt, yeah.
Salt.
Oh, I'm going to go for some chips tonight, I think. Love chips.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, ease down.
Love chips.
Sold.
But
thoughts on the Cobra Wolf, gentlemen?
Well, again,
I never had it. You never had it, I don't think, did you? And so I've never physically seen it in person.
Oh.
It has got a great snow speeder feel to it. Something about having a pilot and a gunner, in that tandem position. Of course, the gunner gets to face forward, which is something the poor Hoth snowspeeder pilot had no benefit of. But it feels tight. There's a tightness to the design, which is so appealing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Wolf.
It actually doesn't feel like anything else in G.I. Joe.
But I mean, the fact that it has an asymmetrical configuration, and the first time you pop up the missile box, because it's on a very juicy swivel, and it's nicely balanced, and it has good friction to it as well. I mean, it's a very pleasing tactile toy. It does
feel like a European that did not hit us at all.
Okay. It's funny. My Cobra Wolf was definitely a Action Force box.
Wow.
So skipped you by and came sailing straight down to Africa.
Something to remark on this shot is on the other European catalog that we got in South Africa. A lot of the guys are shown riding those little motorized vehicles.
Yes.
I think these photographers felt that they looked goofy, like we mentioned earlier. It looks like a clown car, and I think they opted not to do that. And I think they felt that it would be much better to try and sell it on the profile of the vehicle itself.
Yeah, and also they've kind of put it in the foreground, haven't they? So if it was next to them, it would look even smaller. So yeah.
I think behind the scenes they were like, oh Christ, just put it in there. We have to. We're contracted to put it in there.
Placement.
No, there's definitely that. But I think that choice not to put a Joe on it was like very smart. I think they sold more of these in Belgium than they did anywhere else, possibly. Speculation.
This is also like, that is an indulgent shot as well, because there's not much going on in the center. It's kind of off to the side. It's again surprising to see it in a catalog that's trying to sell toys. It's so refreshing.
It makes you think, okay, cool, I like the Arctic snow stuff. This setting looks really cool. I'm going to need to get a wolf, or at least two. So, you know, I think it definitely would capture the imagination of kids.
It would buzz my berries. It does buzz my berries now, but if I'd have seen this stuff when I was 11, 12, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. Well, when you get to the next one, that's going to make you want to buy that vehicle straight away if you're a kid.
What? Well, I'm going to have to go there now.
Indeed. What? Image number 4.
Oh my God. Jeez. Oh God. Oh, wow.
You know, they've captured okay, fine, the rotors aren't in motion, which is not going to be possible, but the shadow, they've captured the feeling of it, you know, hovering, and maybe spearheads just jumped out, or, you know, the gunner repeater there is about to jump out or do something, or they've captured that motion even without there being motion. Very clever. Yeah,
but you wouldn't, trust me, Chief, you would not want to look at that image with the kind of blurred. You just, you know, no. It's not about that, is it?
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't want it to look. I don't want some post photography, you know, effects to make it look like those rotors are spinning. I don't want that on this shot. They've dirtied it up as well, haven't they? They've put like dust and stuff and rubble dust on the Tomahawk. It looks fantastic.
Who is that in the Tomahawk? Is that Repeater? Who is that?
Yeah, Repeater. Right. Well done, Benjamin.
I'm trying to think when I got the Tomahawk. I want to say Christmas 1990. Is that when it came out in Europe, around then?
I'd like to say that, but it never happened.
I've got a Action Force box with my Tomahawk.
I know you have. I've seen it on your YouTube. It's insane. You've just got one. Here's one I made earlier.
It's random. I know, right?
Yes.
The date on the box is 1988.
And didn't you get it for like nothing?
Yeah, about 250 rands, so that's $18.
Why do I remember this?
That is a heck of a vehicle, people. It's the best.
Yeah, it's good. What is Taurus do? What's Taurus doing here?
He's like taking a jump. He's like, wee.
He's practicing for the circus, Chief.
Yeah, very good. Yep, circus strongman / member of the Renegades. But Chief, you seem to be of the opinion that the Tomahawk was dropping guys off. I'm feeling like they are picking Taurus up.
Okay, like maybe a rescue
mission.
He's
on the run,
covering fire.
Oh, I like that. I like that better. That's a better. Yeah.
You can tell how much fun they had building that. That is so awesome.
So much detail. Wow, the kind of faux concrete.
It's like so smart. It's nicely done.
Yeah, you know, you can tell that there's more going on there if you pull out, and it's like when I think if you build these kind of dioramas, there's probably a you kind of just like, oh, I want to show it all, but they've kind of just punched in there, and it's so nice.
That's where you see, like you said, Ben. That's where you pan out and you get all those cobras from the first spread. They're all on his tail.
Yeah,
you pan out and you see the giant rod that's in the back of the Tomahawk suspending it off the ground.
Or the guy's hand is holding it.
Who hasn't done that though? Like if you can't actually suspend it with some very thin wire or piano line, you just got your hand off frame.
You could get so much purchase on those rotors with the Tomahawk that when I was playing, one good like wrist turn, you could have like 15 seconds of play looking like it was flying, you know?
I've had good and bad success with cranking those rotors. Sometimes they're just a little bit too wobbly, so they kind of peter out a lot quicker. Yep.
So I think
you had the magic touch, brother.
Every one of these photos, it's the same deal. It's their lighting is what makes these images. It's off the hook, because if that was flat, it would look, it would be a completely different image. But there's just so much going on. I wonder how long it took to light these things. I bet they played around for ages.
Yeah. Well, the sunset that you liked was coming through the window on image 2. You'll get that on image 5 as well.
Before we flick on any further, Paul, do you have any insight to add, since this is your first time witnessing these images?
Yeah, dude, I look at this and it gets me all excited, because I can feel the way I feel now is how I would have felt as a kid. I would have been like, yeah, I want to make stuff. I want to make diorama pieces to make this happen. These are very cool. I actually feel cheated that we didn't get these as kids. Really.
Well, shit the bed. If you go to image 5, holy smoke.
Here we go.
Chief,
that's a minimalist. That is a minimalist approach, but achieving so much.
Ooh. God, that is like Desert Storm. What are they doing? That is a key pipeline.
Yeah, the pipeline, Paulie. Yeah.
They've got patching, maybe, or
doing something. They're sending a drone down the pipeline or something. I don't know, doing something good.
Why aren't you building a pipeline, Chief, for your dioramas? That is so sexy. Where I live at the moment, on the south coast, Bournemouth, on the beach, they're like pumping loads of sand and stuff, and they've got a pipeline like that kind of runs for miles on the coast, and it's so cool, and it just makes me think of that.
Your wife doesn't seem to think it's cool, man.
Pipelines are like a strategic, that is a key kind of, Cobra want the goddamn oil fields or something.
But something that you said about 2 images back about not mounting any figures on these mini vehicles comes back again, because Falcon is very interestingly posed. He's kind of hunkered down behind it.
You're telling me he's supposed to sit on that?
Mate, yeah. Imagine his legs going on either side of that cannon.
But they're playing it more like it's a drone that they've sent out or something, aren't they? And he's maybe just doing a bit of maintenance on the back of it.
Or he's just ready to get on it and open fire or something.
It's clever on 2 levels, because it doesn't betray how silly a figure looks on it, but it also gives it an added use. You don't just have to sit your figure on it. You can use it as a stationary gun emplacement.
Well, I guarantee you, if you're maybe not if you're a kid, but now as you get a bit older, if you saw that image and you got that vehicle, I would only ever use it like Falcon's using it there. That's given me an inspiration to use it like that rather than sit him on it.
Who's driving?
Oh dear. Okay. Well, in the United States, his name was Skidmark.
Super Skidmarks.
But fortunately renamed in the rest of the English-speaking world as Treadmark. Yay, very good. Chief's pulling back some diagnostic AT knowledge bombs.
So something I got to mention now, because I've seen it across all of these images now, but they're using a very strong triangular layout for the images, for the photographs. Should I say I'm going to say layout, but it's more composition. So you'll look here on the left of this image, it's very big, and then it sort of goes to a point where Falcon is with the little vehicle. And you'll actually see that same kind of shape recreates in all of the images, whether it's going left to right with a point or right to left with a point.
So what does that do? Focus your eye, does it?
Yeah, it does. It leads you through, and it gives you like a story. It's taking you through the story. And I noticed it. I mean, it's very obvious in the first shot that we looked at with all of the troopers, because they're all, in these triangle formations. But if you actually take your hands and you squint your one eye and you draw a little triangle, you'll see that they do converge on Battle Armor Cobra Commander. Although, to be fair, I think he could be pulled out a bit more, but whatever. But yeah, it does. It kind of funnels you into that focal point. And then you kind of want to go back. It's a weird kind of it makes you ping pong.
Yeah.
Very cool. It's a
Yeah,
very,
that's
very
what I like. There's a lot of empty space in these shots, which I really love. And look at the shadow on all of that foreground is something else.
Yeah, I love that. That depth of field is created with the lighting as well.
Yeah. I just broke Shockwave's backpack. Jeez.
Oh,
man.
very.
What, the peg stuck in?
Peg stuck in.
I can still get to it with pliers.
Every time I come on one of these things, I'm breaking figures.
Oh, Ben, all thumbs, mate.
Well, look, guys, that is so far, that is my fave. That is just right up my kind of street aesthetically. I freaking love that.
Nice. Don't know if I mentioned it before, but the vehicle featured is the G.I. Joe tank car, which is laughable because it's neither.
Not a tank nor a car.
Kitty cart.
Yeah.
Image 6. Here we go.
Now, we got some atmospheric rain. Oh, man, you know I love that vehicle, Chief.
I know you love that vehicle. And also, the guy driving it, Slaughter seems to be the only one of the Joes who spotted Raptor.
Yeah, and he's on that 50.
Yeah, he's about to blow him away.
I think there's at least a three-way tie in present company as to who loves the Warthog the most. I know it's my favorite G.I. Joe vehicle. Paul, I'm pretty sure you as well. Ben, top 3, or is it the top dog?
Top 3. Chief, you were there when I got that. Argos, Bournemouth. You won't remember because you don't remember anything. But yeah, you were there.
I think I do. I think you just love the amount of peg holes to stand figures on.
Loved it. Just loved it. That rock formation is identical to an area of Dorset called Durdle Door that I live near.
Okay.
Oh, it's sort of a rock arch.
That archway. It's very famous.
Oh, nice. Okay. Modeled after it, perhaps.
Yeah, possibly. How are we thinking they are achieving the rain? Because I like it because it's clearly... Is it in camera? I think it is.
I'm pretty sure everything's in camera.
Yeah. It's subtle.
They must have been taking hundreds and hundreds of pictures to get a hero shot like this.
Yeah.
And that's film. That is the old process. I mean, they had to have this shit developed.
That looks great. How's that water airlifted in?
Dude,
it's amphibious.
It's amphibious, brother.
Yeah, but it can't go across like the sea. I don't know.
I think that maybe there's a landing craft off to the left of frame, but the Warthog is amphibious in that I think it has propellers, but unfortunately they aren't sculpted in the toy.
Oh right, I thought you meant it can go underwater as long as the treads are on the bottom of the water base. But you're saying it can float in water.
Chief, you're a crazy man. Have you not done duck tours in London on the River Thames? You drive in. Then it turns into a boat, and then you see all the stuff, and then you drive on the road.
Okay.
Ah, yes, the good old DUKWs. They got them in Singapore as well. Unfortunately, the Warthog didn't have that sculpted detail, but I always assumed it. And the toy itself, if you've ever played with it in water, it is a fantastically buoyant vehicle.
More so than some of the boats, actually.
Yeah.
Chief, those aren't missiles. They're torpedoes, brother.
Don't think so.
They are, aren't they?
Well, the big yellow ones.
Yeah, they go under. They fire and then they go in. No.
There is some conjecture. I don't know. I've always played them as missiles, but I think you're right. The blueprints taught them as 2-stage torpedoes. Yeah, either the blueprint or the box back. But then there's a commercial where it features an animated sequence where the Warthog fires them at an escaping stellar stiletto that's blasting into space. And
either.
There we go. With the power
way
of your imagination.
Whatever you need them to be.
Raptor's in trouble, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's about to be a fine red mist.
Yeah.
I mean, what was his plan? Well,
he just skilled him, wasn't he? But you got too close.
He's very close. But the colour of him and the rocks is so subtle and lovely that he is quite camouflaged there. It's nice.
It's quite possible that from his eye line, he's only just peeking over that rock. Like, he could duck back down.
He was a bit rich for you, Chief, back in the day when I got him, and that was definitely when you were like, well, "Who is this guy?" Ben?
Well, that's when, as a kid, I didn't like wacky and zany, and now I've done a 180 now. I like hardcore military stuff, but I like wacky zany.
Yeah,
that happens when you're approaching 50.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, should we roll on into number 7?
Oh, geez.
The bad boys on display.
Ooh.
We've got some depth there, man. We've got some depth.
Once again, compelling you to army build not only figures but vehicles.
Yeah.
Three demons.
This is kind of not conventional, but as soon as I clicked on that, that is like, pow. Okay. There it is, right on display, in your face.
Are you seeing some triangles again, Paul?
I am, definitely. Yeah, there's a big triangle on this one as well. Nice one. But there's actually two now because of the depth of field. So you got the one happening in the foreground, and you got something else, another one sort of happening in the background as well.
It's almost kind of like a top to bottom one, isn't it? As well.
The depth of field on that actually, for me, is a little bit too aggressive. Actually, almost like it's two planes of shot going on there.
I actually think that's how they did it. To be honest,
I could actually do with it being a little bit.
Oh, what, you think it was two shots?
No, I don't. I the other images are so sort of flat. That's why this one is so, that's
cinematic.
Yeah, it's like, man, look at those troopers. Look at those Iron Grenadiers. Short straw on foot.
They're all running around with their pistols. I always thought, like, in the fields, they'd more likely have the submachine guns. But we've spoken about this, haven't we, Chief? It's a nightmare getting that into the hand and then into the crook of the elbow. You either got the magic touch or you don't.
Do you think this shot would be more interesting if you lost Destro?
Good
I don't know if he's necessary, is he? They
obviously have to put him in, but I think the image would look way cooler without that. Yeah, there's just something going on this one that I don't know. That rock looks almost cut. It's still lovely.
Great image. Is my least favorite so far.
Yeah, same.
And I've struggled to find catalog images of the demon featuring its raised configuration. Did you guys know the toy can gather its tracks underneath it and become kind of elevated?
It's got a lovely, I like that Destro decal on there.
I think.
Oh, does it use it in the comic?
Or does it not? No, am I thinking of a Razorback?
Razorbacks, definitely. But the demon had a simple...
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it just would happen horizontally. I don't know,
never seen a demon in the physical.
Okay. Well, I think... If I'm remembering correctly, there was a panel at the final JoeCon where they showcased that the demon was initially slated to be a G.I. Joe snow tank, but then got tossed into Destro's camp.
Can you put figures on that? Has it got pegs for guys?
It's got 3 seats in that cab. 1 rear-facing gunner position, 1 side-facing weapons control officer, and 1 front-facing driver. And the Destro badge / that red section in the center is translucent. So I suppose it's glass, it's armored glass. Though you got this big bit of branding right in front of your eyes. I don't know how how conducive that is to driving well. Maybe it's one-way glass, one-way mirror.
I've actually moved. I'm on image 8.
Brisk. I like it. Let's do it. Image 8. Oh, do we have any Skystorm fans in the house?
What's Skystorm?
That's the vehicle in the foreground, man.
Give me a year on that, S-Jubs.
In the United States, 1988. And I suppose the rest of the world's 1990, as late as that. I love the fact that
Skystorm's the pilot of...
Windmill is the pilot of the Skystorm.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And it's called the Typhon, which I like that. The Typhon.
Ooh, tell me there's a Phantom X19 in here? Sorry.
You'll have to wait and see, my boy.
Is this vehicle I don't really know this vehicle outside of a few scant comic appearances. Is this not a VTOL aircraft, or?
So it has a rotor blade, as you can see, but the rotor blade is designed to stop rotation and become like a wing surface, an X-wing surface. It was actually called the Skystorm X-wing chopper, which is
a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a few too many words. Thank you very much. But it is based on at least experimental technology. In Popular Mechanics magazines of the late 60s and early 70s, I'm going to say, this was a experimental design that was being flirted with. And I think they made a half-scale model that actually flew, but it never went into production. It basically combines the fact that you've got a VTOL capability, but then the speed of a jet.
And this Conquest, again, I've never seen it in the flesh, but it looks tiny. How did it scale compared to the Sky Striker?
Half?
It's
half.
I'd say 2/3, but yeah, it's a smaller bird.
It looks
I'd say
very
in terms
stubby.
of, if you're thinking in terms of like toy price points or classes, like the Sky Striker and the Night Raven are in a class together, and the Conquest would more comfortably fit in the same class as the Rattler. As a sort of a step down. It also didn't have a landing gear mechanism, whereas the Sky Striker and Night Raven have an actual mechanical drop-down mechanism.
Yeah,
I love the fact that the Skystorm is banking so aggressively.
Yeah,
that kind of motion is so cool. I'm a fan of this craft, and to have it like an ice base, it just makes a lot of visual sense to me. It's not in camo. It's not in desert colors. It fits this aesthetic.
Yeah,
Looks stupid to me. Looks stupid to me, that vehicle.
That was also my initial impression of it, but I got to say I've come around to liking it quite a bit now, especially because I've seen it in the flesh, so to speak. And it does have an appeal when you play with it, when you actually have it in hand. And I know that one can say that about everything, but it's just the goofiness of it that you see in the pictures disappears. And I've got to say this is probably one of the best ways it's been presented. So
okay, cool.
I'm sorry it's failed you, Chief.
No. That's just my I don't know, but I think you're right. I think with a lot of things, you see it and you're like, and then you get it and you're like, "Whoa, this is actually I was wrong here." And I think this could be a prime example of that.
In terms of a play pattern, it marries like the speed of a jet with the functionality of a helicopter. So within one toy, you had a lot of fun play potential, but it's got a terrible gimmick, which I suppose I'll briefly outline. So that round disc on the top is actually a plunger, which you would then pull up, and the blades would extend further. You'd push it down, and the blades would retract.
Quite good.
I wish they'd done away with it altogether. It's quite fragile. The blades have to bend in order to kind of go into the main body of the craft to kind of be retracted. So they often snap. But I just wish they were fully extended the whole time, to be honest. It's too fiddly. And half the time you've got this damn plunger sticking out. And it's an eyesore. It's kind of played off as like a radome. Like you've got aircraft that have a sort of bobble on top. Like the Longbow Apache has that thing on top, which is radar, I guess. But it just, it hurt the lines of the craft. Before we move on, I'm just going to pay a little close attention to the United States sticker, which mine didn't have because I had the Action Force release, which had just the Action Force star and the tricolor. So these toys that they are using for this photography were probably sourced from the United States. Maybe they weren't actually using the stock maybe the stock hadn't arrived yet or hadn't been produced or hadn't been boxed. But yeah, it's stickered up as the United States release. Just an observation.
Yeah, because of we had that Canadian Tomahawk earlier as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, was it?
So they're obviously sourcing their toys from all over the show.
I don't want to break up this love fest, but my entire family has just walked through the door.
And then I think that, my friends, is a perfect opportunity to leave it.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to maintain good audio. But
no, brother. Play with
how
the kids.
do you feel about doing a part 2? This might need to be a trilogy, to be honest with you.
How many images are there?
26.
26 of these bad boys, Chief.
All right, yeah. Well, it sounds like there's another 2 parts coming up.
Easily.
Oh, sorry, 23. I got a little bit carried away. But there is a second catalog. There's a 1991 catalog with
But if you call now,
even more treats in store.
I haven't seen that.
Awesome. Well, then it'll be sight unseen for the both of you, or the three of you, actually, if you can restrain yourself from checking it out. But you, dear listener/viewer, if you want to check out these images, you can find high-quality scans on plasticbattles.net. The link will be in the description. Check it out, guys. Salivate over these images and enjoy your collections. Yo, Joburg.
oh, Joburg.